I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
Hey guys, it's been a bit, in more ways than one. So first and foremost, it's been a bit since I've uploaded to YouTube. It's been about like 3 years or something like that. The last two videos that I can like distinctly remember were doing Play Now online reviews for 2K and tier videos and like game assorted gaming. So I apologize. It's been a bit. This is what happens when you don't plan. Like I had a whole 2K Play Now online. Like every single classic team in the game I had planned and played with by the times that these videos were uploading. So this is what happens when you don't plan: is you get 3 years and you're just there's no point in uploading because we're like three 2Ks on and about to be four, by the way, 2Ks on from this point. So I do apologize for that. That was not the intention. It also wasn't the intention that this episode 14, takes this long to come up. So I do apologize to first and foremost. I'm going to apologize to Matthew, Jacob, and Grant. You guys put your heart and soul into this episode. You really gave a deep and philosophical conversation, and I apologize that it took this long. But at the end of the day, the files just kept corrupting, and I'm going to be completely honest. I didn't think I was ever going to be able to upload this. I thought this was going to be the lost episode and I was just gonna have to talk about it because at a certain point the audio just kept corrupting. Like I think it was about like 20 minutes in, no matter what happened, the audio was just corrupting. And so I didn't know if I was gonna be able to find the original audio and be able to like actually edit that audio. So luckily we were able to do that and we're able to get this out for you guys. So I apologize to those three for, really giving me a good conversation and you guys listeners a great conversation. But if you're wondering why, one, I don't have my facial hair, and two, why we're talking about like I think Ukraine and Russia was brought up. I haven't really hardcore listened to the episode. You guys will be listening to it at the same time that I do. Actually, well, that's a lie. I'm gonna be editing this thing, so I'm gonna be listening to it before you guys, but I'm gonna be listening to it for the first time in a while. But I do distinctly remember talking about college experience and bravery, and I believe genocide did get brought up. So yes, you guys are in for a classic in the zone episode. We do get pretty locked into the zone. So that said, a little bit of an update of what we're going to be doing. I have a surprise, assuming I get this timing set up and the editing without, like a watermark and, without having to spend too much money on an editing software. I should have two videos coming up pretty soon. They're pretty close to each other. I don't know. I'm not going to spoil when the scheduling is, but I have an idea whenever this is being recorded on the 5th of August in 2025. I have an idea exact date for whenever the first video uploads and when the second video uploads. So I want to give you guys a little bit update with that. So there's a very fun series that I'm very happy to finally be able to do myself. And I have two guests planned as well. And for the In the Zone, we will be having more episodes. I've always said I'm only going to do 25 episodes and I want to make it like modern. And so for episode 15, I wanted to do a special guest episode. And so I can't disclose who I'm going to be talking to about this and how far along in the plans we are. I will be telling you guys it is someone that you guys, in theory, should all really know and really like and be very interested in this conversation. But it's really up to this person if they are able to fit it in with their time and scheduling with, between family, friends, work, just the whole shebang. But it is, I think this is going to be great. But yeah, so I do want to give you guys that quick update. And y'all enjoy the video.
Hey guys, and welcome in to another episode of In the Zone. This is episode 14. I have yet to get a title with this, but I am here with Jacob.
Howdy, howdy.
I'm here with Matthew.
Hello.
I am also here with Grant online because he has COVID and he couldn't make it in person.
How's it going?
On the docket today, we have the topic of college, preparation, what it's like, et cetera, because we all have different experiences with college. I know Grant went to university. Jacob and Matthew are still applying. Me and Matthew actually went to community together. I'm still in community, but we'll do that. We'll talk about true bravery, what it is, what it means, how to exert it, all the whole shebang. And then we'll go into world topics and talk about the whole situations, that have popped up since me and you last did a podcast. It's been, 2 years
It's been a
So
while. It's
yeah.
been since high school. Like at the end of it, like at the end of senior year, that was when you did it.
So yeah, it's been a fair minute since I've done a podcast. So we'll talk about the major stuffs in the past, half year, and then lastly, we will do whatever goofy topics come to our mind. But first, we got to do a 2 truths and 1 lie segment. So Jacob, care to begin?
What me? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
of course.
I
I'm
can.
putting you on the spot like that.
Okay, I can. Let me think for a minute. So okay. I guess the problem is you know me really well. You don't know me
Yeah,
like at
so-
all.
So should I answer any of these since I know you guys decently well, or
Yeah, nah, you can just sit this one out.
all right? Okay, go.
Because you know everyone. Okay. Okay. So 2 truths, 1 lie. Okay. So we got. I'm gonna just say 3 things. From Canada. I don't have my driver's license, and my sister, Lainey, is engaged.
Which one is the lie?
Whoa, shit. I have to go with the sister one.
Why do you think that?
Well, when you say Canada, I was like, well, I mean, we were talking earlier. You mentioned that he doesn't have his green card yet. So, oh, well, he's an immigrant, and it said, well, like he doesn't have a pretty heavy accent from any other country that I would know besides Canada. So
I mean,
decided
does he
to-
really sound that Canadian?
No, he sounds like because like I've been to Canada and like the way the people they talk there, I mean, it's a pretty similar accent to Americans, unless you're in the French area. So I just assumed, okay, he's probably Canadian when he said that, and then you don't have your green card yet. I assume you don't have a license.
Grant, your thoughts?
I'm gonna go with the sister one too.
We must think alike.
You told me he was from Canada earlier.
Yeah, it's true. My sister's not engaged. She is married already. So she's already gone past that line. Because
Well, congrats to your sister. I don't know how long she's been married because I don't.
yeah, she's
Congrats to her.
yeah, she's been married, I think only for a couple of weeks because it was around it was like end of June, and then July 5th is when we went there for 2 weeks to see the wedding.
That's cool. It's
Yeah.
on the honeymoon.
Oh yeah, they're going to Hawaii in like a couple of months for
Okay,
a
yeah.
honeymoon. Yeah.
Take me along.
I would never go to Hawaii. It's so expensive. All right, Matthew, have you been thinking?
I have been thinking.
Go.
All right, my truths and 1 lie. I've broken 3 bones. I've smoked, and I've played for an esports team.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you clearly haven't smoked. You're Asian and you're Catholic. So that eliminates that one.
Well,
That eliminates that one. Right. Your parents would never let you, and neither would your church, right? That should, in theory, eliminate that one. If you
Hypothetically
have-
speaking.
Huh?
Hypothetically speaking.
that hypothetically speaking, that should eliminate.
Sure, but yeah, there's still
The raw numbers show.
If you were the outlier in that one, I'll eat my words on that. All right. Okay. So it's either, what was the last one?
I played for an esports team.
Okay, that one I think you have mentioned before. I don't know if you have or have not mentioned. I knew you played video games before, but for an esports team, did you mention that at your graduation party? I'm gonna go with the first one. I think you broke in more than 3 bones. Right, Jacob.
obviously I just have to go off of just complete and utter randomness, but from what Nick said, and you're I'm gonna also not say I'm gonna also just go with honestly, I don't know. I'm gonna go with the smoke one just to change, just to have a different answer. I'm gonna go with the smoke one.
Grant.
I'm gonna agree. It's smoke one too.
Okay.
Oh, so y'all two think that the smoking's a lie. That Nick thinks the bones one is a lie.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. Yeah. Which one's the lie?
The bones is a lie.
I knew it. I knew you wouldn't smoke. Let's go. I feel like a god for guessing that, but I also feel really mean for guessing that for the
It's all right.
as well. Hey, it's all good, bro. All right, Grant, you're up.
Hold
on.
Explain.
Oh, actually, yeah, explain why.
Like, what have you broken more bones than
No, I've actually haven't. I'm actually like incredibly injury prone, but I've never broken a bone. It's just been like sprains and overuse. been pretty down.
Oh, really?
And then
Okay.
I briefly played for an esports team, Rainbow Six Siege. It was like a really small startup team, and we played for. We didn't do too much. We just had a couple scrims, and then the team fell apart, so we never got anywhere.
All right, Grant, you're up.
All right. So I've been skydiving. I had to carry my crossed friends out of a club because they couldn't move. And oh shit. I almost got into a car crash today.
What was the last one?
I almost got into a car crash today.
Okay. All right. Okay. So the second one has to be true. You hung out with Evan and Gustavo before. There's no way that one isn't true.
The carrying out of a place.
That they would be the ones to get blackout drunk. There's no way that they wouldn't. There's no way they would. Tell me they wouldn't. They would be the ones to do that.
No, he can't tell you that.
Oh yeah, not yet, but they would be the ones to do that. What was the first one?
That I've been skydiving.
Okay. I feel like that would have come up in conversation before, but I don't know on that one. And the last one, you almost got into a car crash state. You see, right? I don't think you're that bad of a driver. You've driven me before, but you also have gotten into a car crash before.
Well, you see, we're in Texas, and there's other drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Some dog water drivers out there.
is it? Am I really gonna put my egg? I'm gonna go with the first one. I don't think you have been skydiving. I think that just for the fact that I don't think you would get into a wreck 2 times in the past 2 years, or almost get into a wreck 2 times in the past two years. So I'm gonna go with the first.
I'm gonna go with you almost got into a car crash. I think that's the one I'm gonna go with.
Why?
I don't know. Because I selected it. I don't know anything about this guy. The whole point of this is I'm supposed to just pick something random and then he talks about it. So car crash one's for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with car crash too. I mean, I think Nick mentioned earlier that you're in the Marines, and all the Marines will do anything. So I
I'm
think you
not
you
in
would
the
be the kind of guy to go skydiving.
No, I don't think he's in the
He's
movie.
not Marines.
I'm
Oh,
not
so
in
it's the other guy. My bad.
It's the other man.
It's the other guy. Okay, my bad. Well, I'd probably go with skydiving then. I think skydiving's the lie.
No, yeah, it's skydiving. I've been indoor skydiving, but I haven't
So
done
you
the
have
real
not been
skydiving.
skydiving?
No, I've done the indoor one, but that's like not real. So
Could you turn
Yeah,
the boy
no.
up?
We'll do it in the next one. All right. So that'll conclude that segment. So the meeting's about to end in like 3 minutes because we're on Zoom, and Zoom is I don't want to upgrade for $24.99 a month or whatever the price is.
my god.
So we'll resume in we'll resume
$24.99
in
a month.
about 3, 2, 1. All right. So we just talked about the bravery of facing stuff in the real world, aka college. God damn it. It sucks so bad. Now we're going to talk about something that's serious, something that, it takes true bravery to. I think each and every one of us have had a story where we experienced someone or something that's, really exonerated true bravery. And so, Grant, I would like to start with you. Can you tell the adoring public what happened for you? So,
this summer of my freshman year of high school, I was diagnosed with leukemia. And that was a tough one. Because that was like right when you start high school, and so like kind of hearing that was like, yeah, we're just gonna take a bunch of time out of like supposedly the best part of your school and all this stuff. So it was like, oh, and they were like, yeah, you're not gonna be able to go back to school. So like they're like, you're not gonna see your friends, you're gonna have to do everything from home, you're gonna be like going through treatments. So that was probably I think the toughest part for me was like, because even like they'd caught it pretty early, so they assured me, like most likely you're gonna get through this, but it was just like it's just gonna take a really long time, and it's gonna suck a lot while you're going through it.
I mean, yeah, I would hope it would. I mean, okay, no, I wouldn't hope it would suck, but I mean, like, I hope it would, be something that they're not going to be like, oh my God, you got cancer. Good job, buddy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So that
No, hang on. I was gonna say, I was like, so do you remember where you were when you got told you got cancer? Like, was there like a phone call or something that the doctor made
I
to
was
your
in the
mom?
hospital.
Oh, really? Well, you just went to the hospital and they like scanned you, and then it's like, or they took blood and like, oh, you got cancer.
Well, because like throughout like the end of the school year, I had kind of been having symptoms that I didn't know were symptoms. Because like with leukemia, it's like you don't have enough red blood cells to carry oxygen, so you'll get fatigued really easily. And so like I was just like, oh damn, I'm out of shape. Like, man, I'm really tired doing all this stuff, like walking, going up and down stairs and stuff like that. I was like, man, what the hell happened? Like, why am I so tired? So I was like, I'll just work out harder. That'll fix it. And then like after like a couple of months, I was like, Man, maybe I should go to the doctor. So we made a trip and they were like, they didn't take any blood tests. I told the doctors about it and they were like, yeah, it's the flu or something. No, they said it was strep throat. They're like, here's some amoxicillin. Get like,
Did you have a sore throat?
I did. Well, and I didn't even have a sore throat. They just throat swabbed me. They were like, maybe it'll be that maybe you have strep or something. And I was like, okay.
What?
And they were like, they gave me the throat swab. They're like, yeah, you got strep. And I was like, well, this makes so much sense. I've had strep for the past 3 months, guys.
Of course, yeah.
So I took my medication. It didn't get any better. So like after my second or third doctor's appointment, they finally decided to give me a blood test. And then they told my parents, they were like, yeah, his blood counts all like it's crazy. You should take him somewhere because this might be cancer. And my parents were like, how sure is it that it's cancer? And they're like 99. And my parents were like, cool, let's not tell Grant though, because they didn't say 100%. So it might be not true, which I guess was like a coping thing, but it still kind of sucked because it was like a week where they were just like, oh, let's go to the hospital. And I was staying in the hospital and I had no idea what I was in there for.
Was it scary? I assume it was.
It was at the beginning. Yeah, like I tried to like, you know, like be whatever, but I was a little creeped out. They said I was anemic because that's like the main that was like whenever you don't have enough red blood cells, you're anemic. But they didn't tell me that I was anemic because I had leukemia. They just told me that I was anemic. So I was like, all right, don't know how that happened, but I guess, they're gonna give me some blood transfusions and fix that all up. And then like I got like 2 or 3 and I was still in there for a couple more days. And I was like, I'm starting to suspect that there might be something else.
I mean, that's kind of a funny way to put it, but I mean, like, did you ever like really think like until it hit, did you ever really think like, was there a fear that it was cancer?
One time, yeah, because there's like a lot of charity organizations that go through the hospital and they will come into like there's one, I can't remember the name because there was a bunch of them. But they will come into your room and they'll give you like a little gift sheet to fill out and it'll be like for $25, but they'll only do it for cancer kids. So like they'll give you, it's like a $25 thing and you can ask for whatever toys you want from Walmart or whatever. And this lady came in before they told me and she was like, yeah, we give this to all the kids with cancer and all this stuff. And I was like, that's a really interesting thing. What do you mean? And I was just like, oh no, I don't have cancer. And she was like, oh, okay, and left. And I was like, maybe she knew something I didn't. And then like the next day they told me. But I remember like in that moment when they told me, like I was just like, oh, I'm gonna die. All right. And then they were like, no, well, they're like, it's probably very early. We still need more tests, but they're like, you're probably gonna make it out of this, which I guess is what they always would say. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure they
I mean,
wouldn't
yeah,
tell
they're
you.
not gonna really like tell you straight up on the bat, like, oh, but dude, you're gonna die, bro. Like this is too late. I mean, like, unless you got stage 4, they're not gonna be like, you're gonna die, dude.
Yeah. So, but like at that point, I was like, okay. And I just kind of put my mind to like, I just got to go through whatever is in front of me, and then I'm gonna be good. Like I can't be like, oh, I don't want to do my chemo because even if I don't want to do it, I have to. So that's just kind of became my mindset for like the next couple of years, was just like, whatever it is, I'll just do it. I'll just do it. You know what I mean? I won't complain. Just got to go. So that was really what it was, like just that feeling of like, this is how I become, or I get to be normal again. This is how I get to like, see my friends and be able to do stuff again. That's what I got to do.
I remember since I told you guys this, I had Grant in my PE class, and so I remember we saw each other finals week, right? You were, relatively speaking, you were pretty fine. I mean, yeah, obviously you were, out of breath after like 5 minutes, but like you were always out of breath after 5 minutes whenever we played basketball. So it's like we were just like, all right, whatever, right? And so we did like it was fun, since it was finals week, we had like a 3 hours schedule for first period. So we had 3 hours of PE for the first, period of the day. And so I remember after I'd finished finals week, I remember my parents or my mom and I were in Costco and we came across Tracy. I don't know if you know Tracy. It's Thomas's mom.
Oh
You know
yeah,
Thomas
yeah.
Atkins, Tom Atkins. We came across his mom, and she was like, "Yeah, there's a kid in band that just got cancer, and he's like friends with Thomas." And it's like, "Nick, do you know him?" I was like, "What's his name?" Because I knew a decent amount of kids in band. And so she was like, "Oh, his name's Grant." I was like, "Grant? Oh no!" And I was like, "Which one?" Because I was like, "There's like 3 of them, I think, that are in band."
Yeah.
And so she's like, Van Raimdock. I remember I was just like floored because I was like, "Oh my god, I just saw him like a week ago, and he was like perfectly fine." I remember it was scary to me because it's like I just seen my buddy just like a week ago fine, and now all of a sudden he's got cancer and it's leukemia. It's like it really was like a wake up check, at least for me at that moment. It's like at any point anything can happen. So it's like, yeah, that was an experience to hear that for the first time. I remember I was gonna go for with you to do blood work, but I was too young, and since I think. Which one's the universal? Is it AB or is it O? Do you guys know? It's one of them. I have the universal where I could donate blood.
I think O was the universal.
Yeah, I know I have
The O negative, I think.
yeah, I know I have the universal one. So I know I have the universal. So I was like, I'm gonna go donate. But then I realized whenever I went to donate, it was gonna be like 2 years before I could because I was 16 at the time. And then there was also I think Grant, you went to a class, right? For training and stuff with Thomas, I think, a few times.
Yeah.
So what was that like? Because I was gonna go to that, but I just never had time because I just started a job. So my parents wanted me to do that.
Well, I mean, wait, for what? Because I remember I trained to do dog stuff with his mom.
I mean, it might have been that. I mean, I don't know. It might have been like a fitness class just to get back in shape or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, no, he came over to he came to visit me in my hospital a couple of times, to do like he was there while I was doing like PT and OT, like my physical therapy stuff. And so he helped me with some of that, but like it wasn't like really like a planned thing. It wasn't really like a planned thing. He would just come over at the same time, and then he would help me out.
Can you talk about what was it like to see like all the shirts and all the people support? Was that weird? Was that empowering? Did that
It's
help?
super, super weird most of the time because I like most of the time I kind of just forget that because it was so long ago, right? That like I forget like, oh yeah, that there were shirts made for me. So like in senior year, I would be walking down the hallway and I just see somebody wearing like somebody I didn't know and it'd be like a shirt with my name on it. I'd be like, oh, and like that was the funniest part is that like there would be people wearing like my shirt and they just wouldn't recognize me. It would be like, no, that's me. Like, and I never say anything because I feel like that'd be awkward, but like I just be like, thanks, man.
Do you ever feel that the fake support made it worse?
No, I don't know. I remember like at the first few months, I got a lot of like really awkward texts from people I hadn't talked to in like years that were like, hey man, good luck. And it was always just like, oh, thanks, person I knew in elementary school. Or like I was like, I just never knew what to say because they'd always be like, how are you doing, man? I'd be like, how do you think? Like,
Yeah, like I'm going through something right now, bro. Like, come on.
I'm
Kinda,
not gonna lie. I think I actually was one of those guys that messaged
but
you.
that's the thing, like people that I knew that year, but it was like I was fine with, but like it would be like, oh, I got your number from somebody else. I'm blah 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 from your 3rd grade class. And I was like, I don't remember you, but okay. Thank you for the message. You know what I mean? Like it was always just awkward. And then my mom really got it bad because like all of her like Facebook friends, like 5th cousins and everything would always be like, how's Grant? You don't care. Like,
Yeah.
and so she would always be like posting about me so that way people would stop texting her. So I'll look through her. Like I remember I was looking through her Facebook, and there was like 40 posts about me in the hospital And it was just like, oh, they were also like the most unflattering pictures too. It would always be like me trying to eat like chicken noodle soup, and it'd be like from like my side angle. I didn't even know she was taking a picture. And it was always like, that really like the best picture you could have gotten for this check-in photo?
Do you think that okay, so I'm not gonna say names with this, but I remember in our English class, I remember because that would have been the first time I'd seen you in like 2 years. And I was like dapping you up because I was excited to see you because I was like, damn, Grant did cancer. But like I remember there was a couple of our friends in that class. I would use it lightly, but they would like always make fun of you for like they would like that would play like the trump card of, oh, Grant's got to go get chemo like right at the end of if they're like losing the argument. It's like, did that ever affect you?
No, not really. I didn't really care. I'm kind of the mindset that anything can be joked about with the right audience. I don't really care what people say about that. You know what I mean? Like, as long as somebody's not like, yeah, I bet that cancer shit's real easy or some shit like that, I don't really care. You know what I mean? So like, whenever people would say stuff like that, I would just be like, okay, you really, that's a good one. Especially after like the entire year of them saying it, it was like, ooh, you really got me, dude.
Oh yeah, you really.
Was there ever anyone that actually like whenever you like heard it, you were like, actually, that's pretty funny? Was there anyone that you can remember that whenever they whatever the thing was?
No, but I know that there have been like some good ones. I just like most of the time it was always just like, yeah, that's why you had cancer or something like that. Like, and that's not even like just those people that were in that class. That's every single person that makes jokes about me having cancer is always just like, that's why you had cancer, or like, okay,
Okay,
like
bro.
so, like
Thanks.
go do some chemo or something. Like it was always just like, you really got me. Um, I feel like the most like creative one was when people would talk about me losing my hair.
Oh, wait, do you have? I don't know. Do you have any pictures? I need to post this if you have any pictures. Do you got any pictures of that?
I mean, I can look, but I don't think I do off the top of my head, because I know I did have some at one point, but I did delete a few of them. If anything, I can find, or I can try to find some, because I think my mom started deleting them too.
Is there a reason that you deleted them? Was for storage?
No,
or-
I just was like, like I have like 1,600 photos, so I was just deleting a bunch of stuff, and I was like, I found some of that, and I was like, man, that's kind of depressing. So I just deleted them. I was like, if I can find them somewhere else later, probably. But a lot of them are pretty depressing. A lot of the ones that I had were pretty depressing.
Is it one of those things that when you look, you're gonna look back in your life on, you're gonna be proud that you beat cancer, or is it one of those that you just gonna be like, another accomplishment in the books?
Um, I'll always be pretty proud of it, but I feel like the thing I'm more proud of than beating cancer is like that I didn't like break, you know what I mean? Like I didn't let it like really get to me. I tried to stay as positive as possible, and I think for the most part I did. So I think that would be my best part, that I didn't let it really get to me as much as I feel like it could have.
That was a very touching story, Grant. I'm glad. Honestly, I remember the first day I saw you back, I was like, dude, Grant, I haven't seen you in years, and you were just like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, because like I'm not a very like socially outgoing person.
yeah. I could tell because in our English classes, if I didn't talk, none of us would talk. Like, because there's like 4 people at a table. It's like if I didn't talk, no one would. But
And
yeah,
like
I
I've
remember.
gotten
Yeah, seeing you again, that was great, man. Because honestly, I didn't know if you. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know if you lived or died from it because no one had told me anything. So I was like, "Oh, Grant." But yeah, do you ever get any reactions where you're like genuinely like not tear up, but like where you're just like you understood how much you meant to them and you knew it was genuine, versus like the Grant Cam where like people don't even recognize you?
I got like it was mostly at the beginning, when everyone was just finding out. A lot of my like really close friends, they would be like, they would say stuff, and I would tear up. I remember like the first time when I told like because I have like my neighborhood, there's like a lot of kids that are around my age that I was friends with at the time. And I remember like whenever they found out, they were like all just talking to me, and that one made me tear up because they were all they said some nice stuff, and like it didn't even have to be nice. It was just like you could really see like their face, you know what I mean? Like you could see like what they were feeling, and that messed me up a little bit. Um, and then like family members too, because obviously if you know if somebody in your family gets cancer, it's gonna be tough for the rest of the family. So like my family members when they would reach out to me, that one was tough too. But yeah, like a lot of other times it was I was just like, cool, you know, like you wouldn't have really cared too much about me if I didn't have cancer. And I get that you're
Ooh.
being nice by like, you know, saying something, but like we haven't talked in 4 years. Like it's okay.
Oh well, that's a depressing note to end on that story. Oh, but Matthew, so I know that I got you a little bit late, so I don't know if you do you have any stories that can be. I mean, I hope they can't come close to that because that would mean a family member almost died or something. But is there someone you know or anything that happened that you can say, you know what, you look at the situation, this is true bravery right here. This is what it means to be brave. This is what it means to face up to the real world.
I mean, I probably come across a story. I just can't remember right now. I mean, personally, I haven't been through that much considering all things. I mean, I've been very lucky to not have to go through such hard things as he did. I haven't had cancer or anything like that. But I think there's plenty of good stories out there in the world today about bravery, going from heroes to just everyday people. I think okay, this is a bit of a leeway from cancer. This is so this is Russian soldier. His name is I think like Alexander Poroshenko, and he is a soldier for the Russian special forces, and he's in I think he's in Syria, and so Russia's fighting against ISIS, and I think he somehow gets isolated, and the insurgents or the terrorists are all surrounding him that are attacking him. And Poroshenko, he radios in an airstrike on his position, and I think originally they had refused the airstrike, but eventually they allowed it. And the airstrike comes in, kills a good chunk of the ISIS terrorists, and Poroshenko alongside with them. So, I mean, I know Russia isn't viewed by the best, very well in the world considering things right now, but just because a big thing is rotten doesn't mean that everyone within it is bad. I mean, this guy is a true example of bravery. I mean, he died, but he took down a lot of bastards down with him.
I don't know. Okay, so Grant and Jacob are white, so I don't know if they've had the experiences as well. But have you ever had anyone that ever like judged you based on just this alone?
On my skin, can't really say I have. I mean, obviously, you know, being a minority, people will make jokes about it, and there's plenty of it because I'm Asian. You know, you have a tiny pecker, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
you
the
like
chink in the
that.
Timberwolves armor, that was a classic.
Oh my gosh.
That's a classic.
But I mean, being a minority, I haven't really faced any kind of, you know, systemic racism or anything like that. I mean, nor has my family, you know, really had to experience it either. I think, like both of my grandparents, well, I'm Vietnamese, so both of my grandparents, they served in the South Vietnamese Navy. I mean, they weren't in combat roles. They weren't like, you know, the seafaring captains. I mean, they were kind of like my paternal grandpa. He was like a lead for engineers on a ship on, I think it's like an LST. And another one, he helped manage food. I mean, so both are pretty important jobs. It's not combat active duties. But at the end of the war, they both had to flee because I mean they're in the Navy, and you know the Viet Cong. I mean they're pretty ruthless. So they come to America. Oh, they come to America. My mom's grandpa, he's working his ass off for a long time. It was my mom's dad and her two brothers went to America by boat, but their boat got intercepted by I think like Thai pirates, and one of her brothers got kidnapped, and they don't know what happened to him ever since then. My dad's father, he came to America with his wife, and my dad, he was like a year and a half at the time, and they come to America, and both sets of grandparents, I mean, they're in America, they have nothing. They just they just fled a country that no longer exists for them, and they're trying to live a life in a completely new culture. My dad's grandpa, he works at a company, FMC Technologies, I think that's what they're called. So he works with them for a while. Eventually, he gets fired because he doesn't get to work on time because he can't drive. All he has is a bike. Eventually, he co-starts his own little machine shop called RMC. So over the years, it's kind of grown. It's had its up and downs as the economy, but basically what the shop does is it creates like drills and bits for like, oil companies. So they specialize in like making like big metal pieces for stuff. And to this day, that company's still up and it's been like the main financial support of my family. And then my mom's grandpa, he's kind of like a handyman. I mean, he worked with John Goodman, AC Services, whatever, for a long time. So he's retired now. He mostly just stays at home. But I think both of them, really rose for like they worked with nothing and they worked their way up. But I think it's kind of like what the American dream is kind of about. I mean, you start new, you go up, and you make a life out of it. I mean, now I'm here. I have a pretty comfortable life thanks to my grandpa. And yeah.
So, okay, so let me ask you this. So I remember this was an English prompt, and I remember I was stunned that this was actually an English prompt because, damn, English was good for one class period. I remember the question was, do you believe in the American dream still? I'm going to go around and ask the answers yes or no, and then I want you to explain why. So I'm going to start with you, Matthew, since you did that story. I assume your answer is going to be yes, but what is your answer for that?
Well, yes, I do think the American dream exists. I mean, obviously, it's going to depend on what you think the American dream is, what your goal in life is.
So then let me ask, what do you define as the American dream?
My American dream would, being in a job that I would love. I mean, for me, preferably, my goal is to become a surgeon.
I thought you were about to say rap star, but I remember it was a surgeon. I
Did you say rap star?
But that would have been funny if
You
you
think
said,
Asian
my goal is to
rapping?
become a rap star.
Yeah, I would definitely be on the radio alongside Drake.
All right, but yeah, continue.
Have a loving wife, loving family. Being able to live up my life in comfort. Create a good life for my kids, while also being able to teach them. Have a good connection with them, and then also being able to be active within my own faith, my own church. Doing what God asked me to do. That kind of stuff. Just for the most part, living a life kind of free of worry. I mean, I don't want to be, stuck, worrying about the next bill, that kind of stuff. But I mean, I think when you break it down to the most basic form, I think for me, for the American dream would be having people that I love around me, having a semi-stable job while being able to live out my calling from God. That's for me.
What about you, Jacob? What do you think? Do you believe in the American dream? Yes or no? And then why or why not?
Yes, sir. I believe in the American dream. I think I have an interesting existence because I moved from one stable first world country to another, and yet somehow they are so different. And I love America so much more than I could ever love Canada because of the American dream. And I truly do believe the American dream it's similar to yours. I want a family, I want a good job, and I want to serve my country through politics and help people. And I think that's really the American dream, is just being able to live out the life that you want to live, whether that is alone or with a family or in a stable job or a janitor or, in a nice house or a car. Like you want the freedom to do what you want to do and live out the life you want to live. And I think that's the American dream. And I think people still do that all the time. And I'm especially trying to do it. And my parents are doing it. My parents are never going to move back to Canada. They don't want to. They want to stay here in the US. And my dad wants to keep doing his job. And my mom wants to find something else to do with her life coaching and all that. So.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Different experience because I don't meet a lot of Canadians, but I think the reason that they're especially as an American dream is because America gives you the opportunity to do pretty much whatever you want for the most part. I mean, obviously, America has problems. Everything has problems. Nothing is ever perfect in this world. You have our politics, economic, social issues. But I think, you know, if you take everything together, America as a whole, I think America is one of the best countries in the world to start something new and to build something from the ground up. Partially because of the way our government is formed, the way society is here, the economics here. You know, those kind of three things tied together to help create a good life for people. And then obviously there's its problems. It has its downfalls, but I think its upsides they outweigh its potential problems that it has.
All right, so Grant, I get to ask you this question now. Do you believe in the American dream? American dream, and then why or why not?
I also do believe in the American dream, because, you know, I feel like you see it everywhere, you know what I mean? Like you see, and like, of course, there are people who don't get it, you know what I mean? They don't achieve what they want, but I feel like for most people, you will achieve something good in your life if you try, you know? Like I've seen people who like grow up poor, or like they grow up in like bad family homes, you know, stuff like that. And then you can get like all types of opportunities from, you know, the government or like other people, things like that, like scholarships, all that stuff. And you can, like, I mean, I knew a lot of people that I met in college that, you know, didn't grow up very wealthy and ended up going to college because they worked hard in school, or like through different, you know, scholarships and all that stuff. So I do believe in the American dream.
All right,
my,
Nick.
my answer to this question is a little bit more complicated because I think to an extent it still exists. I think what you guys have all brought up, that you can still have an instance where someone defies the odds, they come from nothing, they can go up to the top. But at the same time, I feel like the equal opportunity to do that, I think that part has died. I think you have to make it out of luck, and as opposed to you work your ass off. Because I've seen people who work their fucking ass off, right? They upload, so like this is an example, they upload content on YouTube, or they run a small business that has a great product, so like a phenomenal cookie or like a donut shop or something like that, where the product is definitely better than the corporate brand. But no matter what they fucking try, they will never be able to take that next step because of some limiting factor. Either they are being bought out by a corporation. Unfortunately, this one does occur. Their skin, what their beliefs are. I've seen that actually hold people back before. So I think that the concept of you can do anything in America, right? I think that does still stand to an extent, because I think that there's only so far that the limit will go for you before you hit a ceiling. And very few people in the world can break that ceiling now. And so I think that with that in mind, I think that you always have to try and, with the state of the country, you always have to try and cater towards everyone. So I personally I'm going to lean more towards no, but I can definitely understand why people would say yes as opposed to saying no. But I just don't believe it does exist as much as it did. Like, because in the 1900s, you could just come in here from Ireland after a potato famine and start up Guinness. You know what I mean? So
And then get your
rich.
pub burned down by a bunch of Catholics who don't want a Protestant in there.
Well, that too as well.
I don't know. I think you're right in the fact that there are limiting factors, but I think America gets exponentially better as time goes on.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you in the fact that there are still limitations, and that sucks, and we need to work on it. But like, speaking of the 1900s, a black person couldn't even black women still couldn't vote. Women couldn't still vote.
That's how it should be. No, I'm cheering.
Like women still couldn't vote, and like hell, like 18-year-olds couldn't even vote. You couldn't even vote when you're 18 back in 1900s.
Which I think that's honestly fair, because I don't think an 18-year-old is wise enough to make that decision at that point.
Well, the whole argument is if they're old enough to die in a war, they're old enough to vote. Yeah.
I think that goes to another thing as well. I don't know if we want to cover this in the next topic, but I think that what something that we should work on is, if you work in the military, or you are in the military, you should be able to drink at 18. I think if you are serving
at
your country, you
18.
should be able to drink at 18. But we can talk about that in the next subject. I'll
Yeah,
close out with this remarks on true bravery. I know someone as well as Grant, that has been shown true bravery to me. And I'm gonna shout out my friend Matthew, not you, Matthew, different one. You're not there yet, but my co-host Matthew, he is currently I think he is stationed for the Marines in Quantico. I don't know. It's either Quantico or
Where?
Florida.
it might be Florida because my friend Justin is also in the Marines, and he's stationed in Florida.
Yeah, so I think it actually might be in Florida, but
I'll ask
He is
Justin
current-
if he knows
he might actually know Matthew.
He
Yeah, he
might,
might actually know that
because the Marines they fuck around. Yeah.
but he is in the Marines. He's currently training to be in the Marines. And he is, I think that's such a brave thing to do because he's known he wanted to do that for a bit now. Like it's been like 2 years since he knew it. So like before senior year started, he knew he wanted to be in the Marines. And it's like, I think to serve your country, that takes a special level of bravery because you're putting everyone else's needs above yourself if you do it. Because I think if you are serving your country, you're putting your life on the line, potentially, especially if you get deployed, you're definitely putting your life on the line. And you are helping others who can't help themselves. And I think that Matthew, deserves a special shout out for that because I personally, I'm a selfish piece of shit. I would never fucking serve in the military. I've never thought about serving in the military. I respect people who do it with all my heart and soul, spirit. I can say that with clear confidence. I respect you if you serve in the military, but I'm never going to serve in it. I would never care enough to serve in. Like, even if there's a draft, I would probably try to find a way to avoid the draft. Like, I wouldn't, like,
Fair enough.
don't involve me into it. Like, shoot, I don't want to be involved in this. And it's like, I think that if you can face up to that, because that's got to have, I haven't talked to him about it, but that's got to have some fear about it. I think if you can face up to something like that, go through the training, go through seeing all your brothers potentially die if you get deployed, and go through the thought of this is going to be something that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. Whatever you do, you're going to remember this. I think to do that, I think that is a clear instance of true bravery to me, and I fully respect him for it. And Matthew, I know you're going to be listening to this. I know we're going to probably fill in our little segment, but I respect the hell out of you for that, man. So with that being said, we are going to be moving on to the next topic. Hang on 1 second. In 3, 2, 1. All right. So instantly back, as you can clearly tell, there's
So
been
true.
no time that has passed.
True.
So we talked about the military a little bit in the end of the last segment. I think that it's only fair to talk about the military around the world now. So, boys, let's talk Ukraine. I bet some of you guys somehow have forgotten about that because you stopped posting it on your Instagram and you
A little
changed, and then you went to Roe v. Wade, and then you went to Uvalde, and then you went to other stuff. So
no one cares about what's going on in Myanmar right now at all.
I look, all right, I got a bone to pick with people who post about all these world issues and then stop posting about it. Like,
Stop.
really?
I still have hashtag Save Armenia in my
Yeah, I
profile.
know you have that. Matthew, what are your thoughts on this stuff like this? Like, what do you think when people what are your honest thoughts about when people post it online? Do you think it's cringe? Do you think it's justifiable, or
I think it's got like a middle ground kind of there. I mean, personally, sometimes I put stuff online. With my opinion, I post something that's like, okay, this is my opinion. These are my thoughts about it. I'm not gonna press it. I mean, who the hell's gonna change their minds over social media posts? Let's be real. I mean, if you're a pro-lifer and someone is pro-choice and starts spewing shit like, oh, you're restricting our bodies, you think that's really gonna change their minds when they're scrolling through their phone? They're like, fuck that. Go to the next story. And then if you're a pro-choicer and you got someone on the pro-life side going, you're killing babies, this isn't right. Then we're like, screw you. Next story. Like, okay, I understand why people post this stuff on the stories. It's close to them emotionally. And I can understand why. I mean, I have no problem with them doing it. It's just when I look at the story and there's like 50,000 posts within 5 hours on that one topic, it's like, do you not have a life out of this? Go touch some grass.
I think the biggest example I've ever seen of this was Ukraine. It's like, it's honestly like a shiny new toy because it's like you'll see all these people post all this support and shit and say, we gotta support Ukraine, we gotta be doing this, you gotta do this. There was a video, it was, I don't know why this lady would post it. It was if I was your mother. Grant, did you ever see that video?
Yeah, where she was
So
like,
you know what I'm talking.
if I was your mom, I would have like told you to do
it on
something else.
TikTok?
with it.
No, it was like a Twitter video. It was like a poem or some
Oh,
shit.
I don't
like
have
that.
Twitter either, so I have neither of those.
Yeah, so Grant,
so
yeah, you remember the stupidity of it. It's like people would post stuff like that where it's like, if I was your mother, Putin, you would have been
I was your
raised better
mother.
and this would have never happened. It's like, really? And then it's like, then on Instagram, which is the one that I normally use, it's like, you see all these people posting about it, left, right, and center. I have to scroll for 50 hours just to get through each and every one. I have to like tap my finger with the speed of God to get through like 6 people's Instagram story. And then it's like, they're posting all this stuff like, we got to support it, you got to support it. And it's like, okay, why aren't you doing anything? You're not posting anything about like donations. You haven't said you've donated anything. You're not actively doing it. You're just posting on your story. What the hell are you going to be doing? Like, you're literally like part of the problem. If you're saying, we got to support them, we got to do this, we got to do that. All right, shut up and do it. Like, I don't need to hear that you do. Like, right, like if you are posting about it and you are actively supporting the cause, I have no problems with that. At
Right.
that point, you have my respect. You are posting about it. You are trying to make a difference. And you're not being like, if you're not like posting like 17 of them, then you're being discreet about it. So it's respectable at that point. But then when you post like 30 stories and they're like no donations or no anything, it's just stories about people's lives there. And it's like, really? Like,
If you really want to make an effect, they have a volunteer military division. Just go join that.
exactly.
I remember I think a bunch of Redditors went and joined the Ukrainian Legion, they call it. Yeah, and they joined it, and apparently it's a complete and utter mess, and it is not a good thing to join. And like basically, like they thought they were just gonna be like food suppliers and everything, and then like I'm pretty sure one of them was like, yeah, a guy just like gave me a gun and was like, all right, follow me, and he was like, I don't know, man. I just wanted to pass out food or something. Like I just wanted to like be maybe like a background character. No, you go to the front lines, bro. Come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. And like, whoa, no, come on. It was really funny. And yeah, I honestly think like, I think for the most part, like for the first like couple of days, yeah, sure. Do your little post, do your little Ukraine stuff. Like make sure you don't make the Ukraine flag upside down. I saw that so many times. People were posting the Ukraine flag upside down. I was like, how do you do that? You could just go to Google Images and then it shows it right there, but it was whatever. And I was like, okay, fine, do your things. But after a while, like it was like, you just don't care. Like you just don't. Like you can sit here and try and post like 3, 4, 5 days afterwards, but you don't care, man. Like, oh yo, I love like listen, I'm part Ukrainian. Okay. My family is from Ukraine. I eat pierogies, which are a very Ukrainian thing. I love Ukraine. I don't give a fuck about what's going on in Ukraine. I'm sorry. I don't hope for casualties. I don't hope for like, people to die. But if Ukraine gets taken over and turns into a Russian colony or something, I'm not going to complain because I'm not in Ukraine. And as long as Russia isn't like mass murdering them, then I'm not going to care. Like it sucks. War sucks. But there's like, I'm pretty sure there's the Tigray war in Ethiopia. There's the Myanmar assault. So there's the Yemeni crisis. And then there's the Russo and Ukraine war. There's like 4 major wars going on. And that's probably not even scratching the surface with the amount of terrorist wars that are going on and the amount of other skirmishes as well. Like I think there's something going on in Libya. I think there's like Western Sahara is trying to become like a country. And there's a bunch of skirmishes on that. I just think people care too much about stuff that doesn't matter to them.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I care a lot about Roe v. Wade because I live in America. It's a law. It's a Supreme Court case. I study it, blah, 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 whatever, Also, I love government. I'm a government guy. So I enjoyed looking at why they did it and all this stuff. And I pay attention to that. But I look at the Myanmar crisis and I go, wow, look at that. That's crazy. Like, look at that. Another basically socialist nation falling apart again at the seams and a revolution happening. Yeah. But I'm not going to be like, oh, donate to this place or well, support for Myanmar and I don't really know. I don't know who to support because it's so complicated. It's like, do I support political extremists that bash down the president's castle and basically like threaten to kill him? Or do I respect the president who's starving his people? It's kind of hard to tell which ones I should be on the side of. So I do believe that people just care too much about stuff that just doesn't affect them as much.
I also think another issue is that they move on from it too quickly. I
Yeah,
think
I
that a good example of this was with Uvalde. I don't know if you guys feel the same about that. By the way, if you guys feel differently, pitch in at any point. But
Pitch
I feel
in,
like
boys.
people move on from it so quickly. Like Uvalde was like what, 1 week, 2 week, and then Roe v. Wade happened, and then bam, it's done. And it's like no one's ever gonna mention it for a while, even though it's such a tragic event that should garner headlines. Like I don't understand why people can put so much effort into carrying something for so long, and then out of nowhere, brand new toy. Now we got another issue to talk about. It's like, why are you being so mainstream? Like I didn't know anything about Myanmar until he just said that, and it's like,
Yeah.
like that's an issue that people should be talking about as well. It's like that's a dilemma that people should be looking at, and they aren't because they're focused on other things that are more mainstream. And so, Matthew, you guys say something?
I'm just tired of living through all these historical events.
Wait, you just said you're happy to live through all these?
No, I'm
historical-
tired. I'm tired.
Oh,
bro.
dog! I thought you said you were happy for some reason. I don't know, but like,
It's not like I'm going to the history books unless it's another genocide. No, I'm not going to for the record. And put it out there.
go through the record. Go through the record. You got list of genocide just for the sake of it.
I think going off because people jump off of things too quickly, like these major issues. I think for
Army.
one, it's just unfortunate timing because I mean Roe v. Wade is humongous alongside Uvalde. There's also a lot of the blame should be put on our news media because they're no longer in the business of informing their readers in true journalism because that's died. Now media is just cranking out as many views as possible to make that money, and both sides on the political aisle are guilty of this. I mean, I don't have an example off the top of my head, specific articles, but both CNN and Fox, Washington Post, New York Post, I mean, they all have their own problems. Jumping from top of the topic, using pretty bad political rhetoric in a lot of their arguments in their articles and videos, just trash discussion and rhetoric in journalism nowadays.
Yeah.
What do you think journalism and media needs to do in general to be great again? I can't believe it.
Make journalism great again.
Journalism great. God.
They
Damn
just
it.
They just have to not
well-
be over political. Because like, I don't know if you've ever, my parents are like pretty big Republicans, or not pretty big Republicans, but like they're Republicans and they watch a ton of Fox News. And it's like literally the worst thing I've ever put myself through. Because they're just like, I feel like if I watched Fox News, they would defend a school shooter if it meant that they could get one over on leftists. Like it's so like annoying to see them be like, yeah, school shootings are terrible, but like Joe Biden stuttered in a conversation.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I'll be straight with y'all. I'm a conservative. So, I mean, but
Just because I would consider myself.
I consider
neutral, just
myself
because I've been
conservative, but the
talking
amount of times that we focus on Joe Biden stuttering and falling off his bike, as funny as it is for me,
yeah,
it's pretty stupid. We have more important things to talk about.
Exactly.
I mean, I haven't watched the full Uvalde film, which I probably should, just to be informed.
Oh,
on the
no, you
topic.
don't want to watch that whole thing, bro. It's
I
a
know,
mess.
but from what I know, it was a complete failure on the Uvalde police in their inaction as well as the inability to, because they had the guy in the room and they just left him alone. They pulled out. You have the chief that's lying. You have the officers on scene. It's like, I know orders are orders, but screw that. You got a guy shooting kids. You got to stop him.
Yeah.
I always question why that stuff happens. And it's like, is this a failure on society or just a failure on the person or the failure of the environment? I'd never understood why this has to keep happening. Cause it's like, this should not, like, under no circumstance should we have to worry about our kids in the future if they're going to get shot up at a school. That should not be a concern.
I think it's just a combination of multiple things. I mean, obviously school shootings weren't as big of as a thing back then. I think as a society, we've progressed downward, especially in our mental health. Social media is a part of it because social media, it has not helped mental health in our society and has worsened it. And even though there's people trying to speak up about mental health and reduce the stigma of it, it's just the way society is going. It's just not constructed in a way to give support to those that need it. I think one of the biggest things for me is the family that kids are raised in. It's just not utilized in a good way anymore to give these kids a good life. I mean, you have going back a little bit back to the American dream that we were talking about, good life, good job. But the problem is that so many people now are so focused on their job and their money, they don't spend time with their kids to raise them right. I mean, I'm looking at kids nowadays. I mean, I was at church for VBS. This is sixth grader with a phone. He has like an iPhone like 12. I'm like, how the hell are you letting your kids do this? And he's the most annoying piece of shit in the world at a church. I'm like, where are your parents? I mean, just I sound like an old guy and boomer saying, there's a kids these days are not being raised right. I mean, you can see the way they act. I mean, just take 5 minutes on TikTok and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay, so then let me ask you this as well. Do you think that these people are naturally bad, or do you think it is the environment that is shaping them to be like this? So do you think that essentially, do you think you're born evil or you become evil?
In extremely rare cases, you're gonna have a bad apple where like you do what you can. I mean, I think they're having stories where you try to raise a kid and it comes up bad. But I think like 99.99% of the case, the kid that turns out bad, that is a product of something going wrong. Whether it be the parents, the siblings, the environment that they're raised in. I mean, something went wrong to make them that way. I mean, sometimes it can be like the lack of a father figure in their life, not teaching them how to be a man or how to grow or mentally mature. It could be emotional trauma, physical trauma as a kid, like being sexually assaulted, that will mess you up. Not that this happened to me, but I know it will mess you up.
Why did you do it to someone?
Oh my God. No, I've just seen examples. No, it affects you mentally because I know people who have been sexually assaulted and have been through really bad things as a kid, and it's affected them to this day. Where like obviously they haven't become school shooters, but it's just really hard for them. And some people, they don't have the correct support system to help them get through that, and it messes up their minds so badly, it warps it so badly where you have things like this happening. You have school shootings. Now I don't know the history of the kid of all the shooting.
Apparently his grandmother had like denied him something and he failed a graduation. It was something.
It was school troubles. He was more of like a loner. No one really liked him at school, apparently. He was just a very like closed off, not a lot of friends, had trouble at school, family pressure kid who then obviously just like snapped and just like went crazy because he killed his grandmother. That was his first victim, is he shot his grandmother in the home, and then he went to the school. So,
man, it's such a mess. So you're on the boat of it's more of the environment most of the time.
Yeah, it's what forms that kid because these kids because at a young age you're extremely malleable. And this kid that he was only 18, I think, out of Uvalde, right? The shooter. He's pretty young. I mean, he's not mentally mature yet. I mean, he's not completely there. He's still extremely young. He's got hormones coursing through his veins, most likely. I mean, you have emotions flying high. On top of, from what I've been hearing from y'all, he's a loner, his personality, it's not treated right, school troubles. I mean, it may not seem like much and it's not logical, but the human mind and our emotions isn't logical. So stuff like this can happen. It's not outside the realm of possibility.
So, Grant, what about you? Do you think do you think you can be born evil, or do you think you become evil, or what? What are your thoughts?
I think that that people are born evil but want to be good. You know what I mean? Because there are like studies about like how different species react whenever they're like given choices of like helping people or like helping each other or not. And I think that like rats were more likely to help out other rats than like toddlers helping out other toddlers. I think that humans were born to be selfish, but we want, like, when we're like taught to be better, we most of the time people choose to be better because they want to be better. But we start off pretty selfish. So that's why I think like most of the time when people have bad parents, they end up being bad because there's nobody to correct that kind of feeling of like being selfish or doing like bad things. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, what you said kind of reminds me of a conversation that I had to a topic similar to this. I think humans aren't inherently bad, but they aren't inherently good.
Yeah.
Do you think they started off as like neutral or something like that?
I think it's neutral because take away the intellect, the emotions of a human, and the soul of a human, and all you have left is an animal that has desires, right?
I mean, that's essentially every animal. Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
So the human has the animal side of the human has desires, and not all those desires are inherently bad, but sometimes those desires end up harming others. So over time, as you're being raised, you learn, emotional, mental, physical discipline to control these, primal animal desires, to learn that that desire in that moment may give you satisfaction once you achieve it, but is a net negative. And as you're being raised and you're being taught and you learn, eventually you learn to control those desires for the greater good, whether it be like, not eating that bag of chips so you can, stay as a good weight, to, hey, raping someone is bad.
Yeah.
It's a huge range of things, but like, rape is horrific, but in the end, it's basically just a man or woman not controlling their desires.
I think if you dumbed it down severely,
Obviously, this is like, really fucking basic,
yeah.
but
no,
there's a
he's
lot more
right.
around to it.
He's right, because like animals rape each other all the time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's
Like,
that too.
Like if you look
But-
at squirrels, like that's
Yeah.
like pretty much every time you see squirrels, they're just raping another squirrel.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Don't forget about dogs as well. Dogs.
Yeah, like 90% of animals like just rape each other. I think there
Ostriches.
I read,
Dogs.
I can't remember which animal it was,
Not
has
like
a
the leg.
the females have like a fake vagina so that they don't get raped.
Oh, fun.
So let me ask this counter question then. Is there a solution? And if so, what possibly could be the solution?
Also, me biased, but I think religion would help a lot. Not specifically the theology.
He
Like,
just laughed at you.
I do not like theology, like, oh, these are the angels and everything, but I think a lot of morals within religion, when you're able to adhere to that, because a lot of religions have good morals. You're Muslim, Nick. You obviously have,
the Islam faith, yes.
yes, obviously you have what was fasting again?
Oh, Ramadan?
Ramadan. Yeah, obviously that forces both mental and physical discipline.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, that's a way of teaching someone, to control themselves for something greater. For you is obviously a reward in heaven. I think if you're that into your faith, for us, one of the biggest teachings within the Catholic faith is no sex before marriage.
Virgin. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I am one. I'm not, ashamed to admit that. But I mean, again, the morals within that is, control yourself, control your desires. There's something better up ahead. Do it for the greater good as well. And then going away from religion, just going to other things. I think just being able to open your mind and to be able to talk to people and to be able to understand that they're different, they were raised differently, different beliefs, different ways of thinking. Being able to acknowledge that would help so many people, because from like the highest levels of government where you have people, talking shit to each other in Congress, down to the lowest, high schools talking shit to each other. We got to be able to work with each other, because that's the only way we're gonna be able to get through life. Because as humans, we are not meant to work alone. We got to be able to work with each other and be able to teach people to teach people to understand that we're different, but still acknowledging, where our similarities are at and where we can work with each other would help so many things in society today.
I think that you kind of nailed it right in the head. It's like you got to talk to people first and foremost. I think that would probably be the thing I would recommend the most. If you can't talk to anyone and you just continuously bottle it up. I don't know if anyone has seen the have you guys seen The Boys yet? Season 3?
I've got
So, yeah,
pretty horrific clips.
So
of it.
Grant's seen it, so he knows what I'm about to say. But Soldier Boy is a character in the show that he has some very emotional moments, but it's like he always keeps it bottled up, and he always is like has this persona, and it's literally he keeps that persona until it literally explodes out of him and kills everyone around him. And it's like a good example is like he has PTSD, but he tries to hide it. And he tries to deny it, and eventually it literally comes like out in his superpowers, and he blows up a building, and it costs so many people their lives. A little bit of a spoiler there, but you can see it in the trailer, so I guess it's not that much. But it's like I think that people on a more realistic and lesser term, I think people need to understand that it is okay to talk to others. It is okay to acknowledge the other side, and it is okay to work with each other. Even if you don't agree on opinions, you should agree on the fact that we're all here to enjoy our life to the best of our ability. And I think people not respecting that has caused a lot of the strife. I think it normally does end up coming out in politics, unfortunately. I mean, I think politics is fucking dumb anyways, but for the sake of the story, I think that if you're gonna disagree with someone, at least I think you should be able to keep an open mind as to why they think about it. And I think that talking to them maybe might give you a little bit more info than just watching just one channel or one mainstream person. And I think that doing that would help make society as better. If you can work with the guy next to you, and you can work with the guy on your left and the girl in front of you and behind you and whatever in between over there, like if you can do that, the world would be a better place.
Agreed. I mean, I just don't like watching news channels anymore. It's just crap everywhere. I mean, I was a conservative. I'm going to be on like, Newsmax and Fox, but I hate watching them now just because it's stupid political rhetoric. And then I don't like watching CNN because it's CNN. More liberal, not my belief. And also I don't like their host. I mean,
What about CNN Student News?
I'll work with that. CNN 10 is fire. Carl Zeus is the GOAT. He is amazing. He is awesome. Do not talk smack about my mans.
All right, but continue.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to wrap this up real quickly, but yeah, I mean, people are too focused on their own beliefs and confirming like confirmation bias, and not enough of challenging their own beliefs and seeing where we can find the truth. Because I have my beliefs and someone else may have their beliefs, and on the same subject, we may have different beliefs. There's probably some truth somewhere in the middle that neither of us are seeing until we actually talk about it, unless you have an open mind. I will have to end there because I have to go.
You've been a joy to have on this.
Yeah,
podcast, buddy.
thank you for having me on this podcast, Nick.
I'll invite you next time.
Yeah.
Make sure to get that next time.
Hey,
but-
great. It was great being on here. Thank you all for giving me this opportunity to talk to y'all. I mean, this pretty nice conversation. Y'all are awesome guys. I mean, it's great enjoying talking to y'all. So good night, y'all. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, now Jacob, you've been awfully quiet. So
That's true.
you're the
that's true.
politician here. No,
That's
you're good.
that's
You're good. See you, buddy.
Ah.
You've been the politician.
I'm
What
the
are your thoughts on
politician.
this whole worldwide scenario problem? Do you think
Uh,
people can fix this? What's the solution?
Well, I think it just comes. I think it just comes down to I really do think it's just parenting, and I do think it is a lot of parents, and I do think it is a lot of just like, I think personally speaking, a lot of us, or the newer generations, I would consider them like the coddled generations, if I'm going to get very boomer here, the coddled generations, and I think to an extent, the openness on like mental health and all that is good, but I just think people just don't do enough with it. And I guess, it's also a political thing. I think you just need to have an open mind, and you need to allow yourself to go through dangerous things and go through scary things and go through offensive things and go through things that you don't want to go through to see the ends of what might happen. Obviously we need to have some principle to it, and we need to have some boundaries to it. Everyone does, but I think the most annoying thing for me is when people tell like depressed people and anxious people and all that, oh, you're fine the way you are. No,
No,
they
you're
ain't.
not. No,
They're
you're
about to
not.
they're about to kill themselves. They struggle in school. Like, they're not fine the way they are. That doesn't mean they're a bad person. That doesn't mean that every single thing about them needs to change. But like, I went through a mental hospital. I went through depression. I did all of that. I'm still the same person, but I have a much better work ethic. I have a much better positive attitude. I work out. I eat better. I watch certain things. I talk to my friends more. Like, little things that I changed about myself because I wasn't good where I was. And if a bunch of people told me, oh, you're fine where you are, I may have not left where I was. Meaning, I could have very well have been just not here. I could have died. I could have killed myself and went through with it. like again after I failed, and I would have been gone because I would have been the same person. And I feel like that's the problem a lot of times, especially with Gen Z, is that they'll be like, "Oh, I'll listen to you." And then they just regurgitate garbage like, "Oh, you're fine. I get it. Yeah, that's totally true." It's not, they don't give any, and I think it's good to be supportive of your friends. And I do that sometimes where I'm like, "Yeah, man, I get it. Times are tough, you know? But don't worry, we're in this together." You know what I mean? But I also go, "All right, homie, you know, you having trouble in school? Are you studying? You getting enough sleep? You eating good? You doing all this? Because if you're not, then maybe that's why you're having trouble in school. Maybe that's why you're feeling sad." You know, I'll admit it. I am a little rough on like stuff like that. And I think people would be surprised, especially since I did go through a mental hospital and I did go through depression. But I think like when I see a person going through depression, and this goes for me as well, this is the same stuff that I look at, is that if you aren't doing everything you can in your power, it's in the end of the day your fault that you cannot get out of this. You know, like when you fall into a hole, you don't just keep digging or sit there. You try to figure out how to get out. As long as you try, you're at least getting somewhere. But if you just sit there and do nothing, you do nothing. You don't go anywhere. You know, so I tell my friends, like, you got to keep moving. You got to keep doing stuff, and you got to keep trying, because if you don't, you can only blame yourself. You know, I really do believe to an extent that happiness is a choice in a lot of situations. You know, like with jokes. Like I think jokes are a prime example, and like with you, Grant, in the fact that you chose to not let the jokes get to you. You know, about like your cancer and your chemotherapy. You know, you chose to just brush it off and maybe even laugh at some of them and enjoy life for what it is and stay positive. And I think that's exactly what people need to do a lot of times. Like when people joke about my depression, you know, I'll have similar reactions to where it's like, yeah, good one, I guess, man, you know, because it's just like, it's like, yeah, you know, making fun of just me, like saying like, "Oh, you got a barcode on your wrist or whatever," and all that jazz, and just like making stupid jokes like that. And my friends always did that. But for the most part, like some of them were good. I can't remember them right now, but some of them made me laugh, and some of them I just go, yeah, that's me, and I just move on from it, you know. So I do. I think we coddle people too much, and we don't allow them to face the suffering that is reality for head on for what it is.
Wow. I mean, I don't know
Agree.
what else to say about that one, man. I mean, oh my God, he's taking a deep breath. It's like you went through a concert. I mean, nah, dude, it's all right, man. That's what this is for. I think that you absolutely nailed it on the head, because I mean, I kind of went through something similar with you, and it was my own fault for starting the whole situation. So I think that I didn't really talk to anyone. I don't know if you noticed it. There was a day I came in and I was like crying for half of the like Panther. I don't. Did you ever notice that?
I think I did.
Yeah. So,
Because obviously, because you're a very loud person, so seeing you like that, it was very like the whole energy was just off in the whole thing.
yeah,
I was like, what the heck's going
it's
on?
it's always weird whenever people see me like at that state, because it's like people are like, "Damn, dude, I'd rather be annoying as shit and hyper all the time than be this sad sack of shit." And they're always like trying to. I think that part of it was people. Part of it where people were afraid to approach me just because of who I am. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I think they were probably going to be expecting me to blow them off, but honestly, at that point, I was probably looking forward to people just, you know, talking to me just so I could get it off my chest. Because it's like, I think that's part of the problem is people are unable to recognize what the problem is, because it's like you don't talk. I think just talking would really help a lot of people's problems. And I don't know if you two gentlemen feel the same way about it, but it's like when you're at that point, when you're at your lowest, you need your support, right? You need every support that you can possibly get to overcome whatever the hell you need to overcome, right? Whether it be cancer, depression, whatever, right? Girl problems, school, whatever it is, right? You need your support pieces, your parents, your friends, other family members, random strangers sometimes. I mean, I've had random strangers go and come up and give hugs. I mean, that has
Well,
happened.
that's what a therapist is, just some random dude that you can talk to.
Exactly.
Or
Like,
woman. I've only had women therapists. All 5 of them.
5? God.
Yeah, sorry, 5 therapists. Well, because it's just a lot of times we just didn't like call them back or something. We just forgot. So then months went by, and I was like, "Hey guys, still depressed. Can we go get another one?" They were like, "Okay." So they went and got another one.
But it's like, I think just talking really does help most of the problems, not all of the problems, but it does. It's a start that I think people need to be taking more, because it's like, if you don't talk and you bottle it up, it's just going to kill you and everyone else around you. It's not going to be good for anyone. And I think that I'm learning to do that a little bit more now. I'm still kind of secluded. I think I'm like one of those have you seen the meme where it's like the class clown in his class?
Yeah, yeah.
And then when he
yeah.
goes home
When
and
he
he's like
goes home,
depressed as
it's,
shit,
like sad.
is the
Yeah.
same scenario where you just see like me at home and like with family and then out with friends sometimes is completely different than me in a classroom. Like, if you get me in a classroom, I am the life of the classroom. I will say whatever I want, even if it's stupid, and I'll get roasted for it. But it's like with stuff like that, it's like I'm learning now that I can talk to more people now as opposed to just 3 or 4 people. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think, and that's what the thing is. I used to tell my ex-girlfriend, I was like, listen, if you can't talk to me about it, go talk to anyone. I don't care. Go talk to your ma, go talk to your sisters, go talk to your friends, talk to the therapist you have,
talk to a random stranger.
or yeah, or like hell, like phone your dad, talk to him, like just talk to someone, because yeah, I think the first step is realizing you feel bad and just going and getting it off your chest. Because hell, even sometimes that's just all you need. Like lately, that's all I've ever needed. I go and I complain to my friends about all the shit that's going on. I'm like, this sucks and this sucks and this sucks and I hate this. Anyway, you guys want to play some games and then we just have a good time, because that's all I needed. All I needed to do is get it off my chest. That's all. What about you, Grant? You think talking's a kind of like one of the first things you should probably do?
Yeah, well, the thing is um I really didn't when I had cancer. Like, I want to talk about the things that really irked me. Um and then like one day it kind of just all came out with my parents. And I feel like that was like the best thing for me. Like, that after that it felt like so much easier. Talking to somebody and them just like, helping you through whatever you're going through can be one of the easy, like, it's such an easy thing to do, but most people don't want to feel like a bother, so they don't. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
And and I feel like also, like, I don't know if I would want to just talk to like some random person. Like, I feel like I want to talk to somebody who knows, what I'm going through, somebody who like cares about me. Otherwise, it just feels like, it feels meaningless. Like, I've like me telling my parents about it, they could help me. They could help me with stuff. But like, if I just told like a nurse that worked there, I mean, like, it would feel like, it's her job to help me. She doesn't really want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you just nailed it right in the head with that one.
Yeah,
Because I felt that
yeah.
sometimes people do feel like there's a necessity to help. And it's like, I think you shouldn't help if you really don't care. Like, if a random stranger comes out to me and he's like dumping his day on me, normally I'm not gonna give a shit. I'm not gonna fight. Like, even if it's the difference between this man's life or death, like, if I'm never gonna meet this guy again, I really don't care where this needle falls. So it's like, I can be a lot cold in that situation. And like you said, people are surprised by that answer, because I've been at a point where I need to talk to people. But it's like, I think that if a friend came up to me and it's like a really stupid reason that they're upset, I would just tell them. It's like, you gotta be upfront with stuff like that. Like, if you're helping just to help, you're not helping at all. You're just gonna make it worse, and you're gonna feel bad whenever you feel like, oh, I didn't do all I could, I didn't show all that I can. It's like, those who really help, I respect that to the maximum. Who really care, and it's not their job to do it like a therapist or a nurse or a doctor, where it's like your job to hear this out, your job to talk to you about it. When it's your like just a friend or a family member and you are doing that, that is probably one of the greatest acts of kindness that you can give to someone, to show that you truly care about them at all times. And I think that that's something that people need to understand is out there for you. You can have someone who cares about you at all times, even if it's not a girlfriend or family member or even a close friend. You can have someone who will be there for you, you know?
It's true. Yeah. Yeah. And I agree. I agree with what Grant said and the fact that, yeah, like I would need someone who's close to me, and that's why I went through 5 therapists because I just never felt like none of them were working. Like personally for me, pills and therapy never worked. I got put on pills once to control it. And in like a week, I was like, I'm not taking these anymore. And I didn't. And that was the last time I ever had to go to a psychiatrist or a therapist in my life. It's when I just stopped taking the pills and decided just to be more open. Was it hard? Yeah. Would maybe the pills would have made it easier? Maybe, but I just needed to talk to human beings who loved me, like my family and my friends. I didn't want to talk to some woman who writes the notes and has like 100 million different people they have to talk to as well. And I'm just basically like a data point they're waiting for. So yeah, I agree with Grant.
All right, so I'm gonna finish out that deep topic with a quick cut. Do we want to do one more section, or is that gonna be all for this?
Yeah, I gotta go.
All right,
All right, well,
probably
that's it then, eh?
So let me do the outro really quick. So hope you guys enjoy this so much. I thank you guys all for listening to this very deep and enigmatic conversation. So thank you guys all for listening. I will see you guys next time. Thank you to Grant and Jacob for all showing up as
Yes,
well.
sir, and
And
thank
Matthew.
you.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
thank you,
inviting us.
Matthew.
See you guys next time. Peace.